switch. Oh, gotcha. Fucker. Let's see. 6. Sure. That was a close one. That is why I do it by the book. Literally. Should be all of them. Nine foot-pounds, so when putting these together, this is a dry fit. We go around in the torque pattern, put it to the first step, which is 12, and then torque this on the nut side, whichever side you put in as the nut side. Torque that as the 9 foot-pounds. Okay. And we go through, and then the next torque spec is 15 to 18 on all the big ones. Start on the right fucking thing. 1. 2. 3. 7. Important to be constantly double checking. 4, 5. I used to have this shit memorized. When I did a lot more Evos. 5, 7. All right. Used to. Not no mo. Clang. Ooh. That's pretty nice. There's no oil. Okay, next. We're blueprinting this, going through every measurement. But you always check run out first anyway. Leave this one loose. You're checking an Evo, because it's got this one that moves around. That thing in there. There is always a chance, it's very often the case that this thing is going to come apart numerous times. And that is a beautiful thing. Let me zoom in on that for you. Come on, focus, focus. It's like trying to focus when Riker's around. All right, this is a beautiful thing. Less than 1/1000th run out. Perfection. That away. Alright. Now, pull it apart again for one last time. You start the process of putting it together once and for all. old dummy. I do believe that nut is a little boogered up, or it's got something on it. This motor is one I started probably 6 months ago. Normal turnaround in an Evo isn't anywhere close to that, but this one is a special build. Good friend, good customer, Will, ended up buying this S&S used, of course, as many people do, which is not a big deal. We'll do it in the torque pattern. And it didn't last him very long. You know, anytime you do that, you're kind of taking a risk. So he lost that bet. We brought it down to get it rebuilt. We talked about doing a crate motor and decided he would be much happier with something one of a kind. So we took his S&S motor, which had a blown crank, it had blown everything, and sent the crank out to Dark Horse to get get it repaired, have it balanced, get some new like Corelli H-beam rods installed, and then we decided to do twin cam pistons on this. So we sent the we had the rods bored out for 927 wrist pins, and Evo typically has 729 or whatever the fuck it is, wrist pins, smaller wrist pins, so that we could use twin cam pistons in this thing. And we ended up getting Axtel to make us some custom cylinders, which are sitting right there. And JE made us some custom pistons. And when I say custom, they're literally one of a kind, not off the shelf whatsoever. So this motor, these cases and flywheel, went out to Dark Horse. Well, not this one. This is a new set of cases, but all that went out to Dark Horse to get all done up nice. And the S&S heads went out to Axtel to get fitted, or get the pistons fitted to them. And we put it all together. When it all showed up, everything looked really, really good as far as clearances and everything. And the motor lasted like 30 miles, and the piston skirts were hitting the cylinders and just tearing things up, started burning oil, which when you're doing experimental motors it's setback, but it's, you know, kind of expected sometimes, you know, like, okay, what went wrong? So we pulled it apart, started checking easy stuff, put it back together, pull it apart, put it back together, you know, trying to figure out what was wrong before we found the cylinders were causing an issue, and we pull the cylinders off, find that problem, and then end up noticing that one of these studs that we had used as old cases off of that motor, and typically don't replace those studs unless they're, you know, boogered up. They look like they were in good condition, and one of those was a little bent. It was like, well, that wasn't bent when we put it together. What happened? So we start wiggling it, and it feels a little loose. It's like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to replace something. We pull that stud out, and it was freaking helicoiled in there. So the previous owner of that engine that sold him that used engine, or a shop or somebody, decided that with those cases being as expensive as they are, it was going to be worth drilling out where a stud had pulled out and put a helicoil in there and put it back in. So we pulled the rest of the studs, and it turned out that every single stud had been helicoiled in. Usually studs don't helicoil well into aluminum, especially with the kind of pressure this thing's under. So that went south. Just the one frickin' thing we didn't check or replace. So we got him a new set of cases, and you know, it wasn't anyone's fault as far as that. So the one thing we didn't check, and typically it's not ever an issue. I've never seen anybody helicoil one of these engines. And so we got him some new cases, got them black, and that took forever. They were on back order, of course. Ended up getting to the point of reassembling it finally, and on these blueprinted motors. I do not like to do them when I have a ton of distractions, so I'm here alone at the shop today. And nobody's coming down for the most part Friday on a work day, so it's a good day to do some blueprinted engine building. Check every frickin' thing possible as it goes together and record it all. That's technically what blueprinting is, and making sure it's within spec and adjusting things till they are in spec. So now this thing is back together. We got new bearing on that, and I think we're just ready to clean this up and put some goop on it, bolt it back together. I was thinking to myself, hey, it might be kind of cool to show you guys this stuff that nobody ever gets to see.